Okay, so let's talk about what happened since Sunday. If you follow the show, you would know I had to postpone the episode because whatever stories I had recorded for the Sunday Freestyle, the news were rapidly changing in real time. And it's a good thing I waited too, because there have been some drastic developments since then. Some things that got reversed, some things that got a little bit worse, and some things that are in a holding pattern. I just want to say reverse and worse rhymed. I'm a fucking rapper, bitch. It's been especially hard to keep up with because this administration specifically is very in tune with every single headline that is being printed. If you look at some of the most out-of-pocket decisions Trump has made within the last few days, almost all of them are these weird, like, contrarian clapbacks, like he's trying to say,
I'm not like all of the other girls.
For example, after that tragic crash over the Potomac when Trump's conference went decidedly off the rails and he started to blame DEI for a pretty significant tragedy 3 weeks into his presidency, after J.D. Vance tried to clean up the mess at that press conference and all of the backlash, directly after, Trump literally signed an executive order blaming DEI and the Obama administration for the fucking crash. Bro, what the fuck? That's like somebody asking their boss to sign something and then their boss is like, I'm implementing a new rule. Fuck Scott, I hate signing things. What was the point of this? Like, what the fuck? So let's just go through the posturing, right? The policies and the significant developments since Sunday and try to figure out what we should keep our eye on. And I'm going to start with Elon Musk because clearly he needs the attention right now. This money-grubbing little bitch. Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, so fucking stupid, has been barreling through the federal government like a freight train. He gained access to the Treasury Department's records over the weekend, prompting a lot of concern from both sides of the aisle. And real quickly, just to set the stage, because it's hard to understand the dynamic Musk has with everybody else with the amount of noise this administration is pushing onto the headlines. Musk and Trump are not necessarily getting along right now. There's a lot of evidence as well as reporting to suggest that Trump is really being rubbed the wrong way by Musk's agency in the center of all of this, as well as the fact that there are multiple restrictions that keep hitting Musk whenever he oversteps. For example, Musk is the only one of Trump's appointees. By the way, he's not even a fucking appointee because nobody confirmed him, but he's the only federal employee or whatever he wants to call himself who Trump has openly said he will swing against if he disagrees with them. All of the other government employees Trump has been trying to push through, he's like, oh, they're going to do a great job. They are singularly suited for this position. But Musk is the only one with the distinction explicitly stated, hey, if I don't like it, we're not fucking doing it. But either way, Elon gaining any sort of access to the Treasury Department's records or coding, which is even fucking scarier, was not a good thing, and his showdown with the USAID made a lot of headlines this weekend. USAID, in case you don't know, is the department that provides funding and development to countries in need. From Bill O'Reilly's perspective, it's the way we buy countries if you want to see where his priorities are at. Originally, DOGE was stopped physically from gaining access by the USAID to their offices, but then DOGE threatened to call the U.S. Marshals, and then there was this whole fucking showdown with eventually, somehow, DOGE gaining access to classified files from the USAID. With Musk eventually saying shit like, the DOGE team discovered, amongst other things, that payment approval officers at the Treasury were instructed to always approve payments, even to known fraudulent or terrorist groups. They literally never denied a payment in their entire career, not even once, except that's a fucking lie. That department has an entire system set up specifically to do this, and Musk is deliberately misrepresenting how that department works. Also, he has a little bit of a problem identifying terrorist groups, because if he sees a Zig Heil, they're just a misrepresented youth. We children are our future. But either way, Musk eventually claimed that Trump had given him the go-ahead to gut the entire Department of USAID. Joni Ernst, known for her incredible backbone with the way she stood up to Pete Hegseth, that's sarcasm by the way, expressed some alarm here, saying something to the effect of, can we fold in the useful parts of the agency into the Department of Defense or something else? I'm paraphrasing. And as this was going on, headlines were already spinning about this, and I do have to give some credit to a lot of the opposition PACs here, because they've gotten the word coup trending in regards to Elon Musk, to the point where the messaging actually seems to be breaking through on a lot of social platforms. But with that came a lot of panic, reasonably, right? Because of Musk's unfiltered access and the speed at which he said he was going to gut the entire department. We found out those two things within a fucking day. And by Monday morning, Trump made a statement agreeing with a lot of the ideas that, oh, the radical left is actually running USAID and he's happy with Elon, but also pushing back against some of it, saying that we're not always going to do what Elon wants us to do. And suddenly, later on in the day, Marco Rubio said, hey, actually, I'm the new head of the department. We folded it in to my department, like Joni Ernst somewhat suggested. That is a drastically different narrative change, all within like a fucking day. It was another instance of the administration trying to project strength like they've got it all together while also trying to clean up a lot of their mess. And that's what you have kind of seen over the last week or so. I'm not trying to make this a zero-sum game of does Trump score points or does his opposition score points. It's all about what happens and how it happens. Trump is right now in his honeymoon period. All presidents have a honeymoon period when they go into office. Trump even had one when he came in the first time. So he doesn't want Elon looking like Elon is the fucking president. Because in case you haven't seen polls or anything else, it's really fucking unpopular how close Elon is to all of this. Trump also doesn't want to seem like he's taking any L's. He wants this to be the resounding triumph, his comeback. Here's another good example of that, the tariffs. I reported on Sunday's episode, which I'm just going to upload to TooSoonCrew.com at this point. You can see the outdatedness of it. I mentioned on Sunday that the Trump tariffs had a lot of significant changes even while they were being implemented. During the campaign trail, they were 100% tariffs on all these goods. But then, when they were finally implemented, it was a 25% tariff from everything from Mexico and Canada, except for Canadian energy production, like oil. Oh, really? You mean the major energy export? You're kind of carving out that exception for Canada? Huh. And afterwards, Trump put out another statement, which is a fucking stupid statement the way he phrased it, that Americans are going to feel a little pain as this fucking trade war starts. The market pretty much tanked itself right after that. Not tanked, but significant amounts of people after hours started to short the Dow. And by Monday morning, there was this expectation that the stock market was going to basically just take a giant punch to the fucking face, to which the White House responded, hey, actually, we're gonna call Mexico and Canada real quickly. We're just gonna tell them what needs to happen. Just give us a second. Hey guys, I'm back. You know what? I talked with both Mexico and fucking Canada, and you know what they said? They said they agree. You know, they're gonna stop the illegal flow of fentanyl. They're gonna help us secure our borders. So you know what? No tariffs right now. We can pause them for 30 days. We're all good. I won. I just want to let you know I won this. Oh, really? The tariffs aren't going through? Oh, what did Mexico and Canada do? Oh, Mexico said they would send 10,000 troops to the border. Something they've consistently done in the past, like more of the same. They just framed it a little bit differently to assuage you. And then Canada said they were implementing a plan that was announced during the Biden administration. And what was that? The markets and the investor class started to dip the stock market to scare you into capitulating? Hey, by the way, everybody, what did I fucking say? This is the kind of stuff I meant. Trump is beholden to certain parties. His strategy is to overwhelm people and feel like he's always winning. So don't test him. And even when he loses, he's going to act like he was a fucking win in the first place. And look, not all of those losses are necessarily going to be public. Another area we should talk about are the Trump nominees and confirmation hearings. Both Tulsi Gabbard and RFK made it out of committee despite a lot of protests from multiple senators. But on Tuesday, when they made it out, those senators were singing a slightly different tune. Now, did Trump pressure them into approving his nominees? Not necessarily, and this is why I'm going to go back to what I said about the press. Trump's nominations have had significant pushback and bad press from so many fucking angles. Peter Hegseth barely got confirmed, and then there was this giant FAA accident very soon after his confirmation. RFK and Tulsi Gabbard had some major fumbles during their confirmation hearings, with many senators telling the press directly that nomination is in trouble. Well, those were some major headlines that were front and center during this whole weekend, and the change in tone here is actually drastically different than that of Joni Ernst, who was directly threatened by Trump for her seat. But instead, the senators that flipped this time used the patented Susan Collins defense. Oh, you know, we're all good. I was worried and I was concerned, but you know, they're very nice people. Just look at what happened with Brett. And so if I had to bet money on it, RFK and Tulsi Gabbard making it out of committee is more of a reactive decision to signal towards the headlines, hey, everything's fine, we've got it under control, trying to give the appearance of we're all good, with the senators probably dressing them down about the brand, about not making too much noise, to stay in line. And I'm going to say this again, just so it's clear. It's not great that the Republican senators are the acting adults in the room. They're not great adults in the room to begin with. They would probably hand the toddler an iPad and a copy of an Ayn Rand novel and call it a day. But they will stop the toddler from sticking his hand in a toaster. The left hand, the right hand is gone. That's fucking over with. Now, it doesn't mean that it's all smooth sailing and RFK is just going to be a good boy and about face on vaccines, and Tulsi Gabbard is not going to kill 103 Dalmatians. But it does once again signal where the brand sees itself and where those barriers are, and what they are directly reacting to. And like I said, when the brand is in trouble, all of a sudden, Republicans will buck the person in front. And look, that brings us lastly to the latest in Trump salvos. I don't know if this is going to be outdated when I post this, but I'll fucking say it. The Department of Education. For those of you who don't know, the Department of Education has been a giant boogeyman for conservatives since dinosaurs roamed the earth. I guess with people, I don't know what you believe. Trump says he's going to issue multiple executive orders against the Department of Education. One of them forcing Linda McMahon, the new Secretary of Education, to find a way to dismantle her department and put herself out of a job. I guess that was his big selling point, to make it seem like, oh, look, I'm super practical. And then he said he would put through another executive order trying to push Congress to get rid of the Department of Education itself. Here's the problem. Congress has historically had a significant issue with actually doing that, because it's kind of fucking unpopular to get rid of the Department of Education. It poses a lot of significant issues, and even with the whole culture war thing that's going on, Congress is very hesitant to like fucking eliminate it. And Trump is basically just issuing an order saying, Congress, please. It's the definition of culture war stoking. That's one way presidents issue executive orders. They're just directives. They're like, hey, I'm directing the Department of Defense to look sternly out the window to just, to strike fear into the heart of our enemies. Ugh. So look, after all that, where does that leave us? All right. Is the Department of Education going to evaporate? Is Elon Musk going to steal all of your money, your social security numbers, and your waifu pillow that you're not telling your wife about? Is RFK going to, say bleach is actually pretty cool, you should try it instead of vaccines? Look, I don't think we're going to have the most extreme of the extreme fear. I think it's good to talk about the ramifications of giving people unfettered power. But the one thing that I do want to stress that is incredibly important is that we have to identify exactly how bad something is without overstepping into like insane extremes. Because it is in this administration's best interest if the people ideologically opposing them think the world is ending, so they can make memes about liberal tears and make you out to be irrational actors while they bitch about having to say he instead of she sometimes, you fucking pussies. Judging by everything that is happening, Trump is kind of doing similarly what he did in his first term, with a little bit more confidence behind it. He has complete control of the executive branch, which means he's going to do a lot of damage within the executive branch's purview. He's gonna mash all of the fucking buttons and appoint stupid fucking people and be the toddler sticking his hand in the toaster. You stuck the left one in there too? Stop! Stop! And there are some things he's going to get away with in the short term. Like I said, Trump is not powerless here. The way you fight back against some of these abuses, though, is through constituencies he's beholden to. For example, the price of eggs actually did fucking go up recently because of what's going on with the bird flu. And because that story is so close to Trump's tariff story and he's moving so fast, a lot of people are going to get confused and immediately go, oh wait, he raised these tariffs on Canada and Mexico and the prices of eggs went up. He raised the prices of eggs. Now, that's not necessarily the truth, and I would advise you to keep things in context. Don't misconstrue those things just to prove a point, especially because even at the outset of it, the story still looks bad for Trump because you're the president. What's going on with the bird flu? Don't freak out over the bird flu yet. There are still a lot of things going on, but it's not COVID right now. But on top of that, either way, Republicans are still wary of RFK and Tulsi, despite what they're projecting in the media. So even with a party line vote, dissatisfaction from constituents is going to be key in checking a lot of the worst abuses from Trump's appointees. Ask Alberto Gonzalez. How you doing, Alberto, you jackass? And as for Elon Musk, who I think a lot of people are very, very wary of, that is public pressure that needs to materialize and be consistent. And so far, it seems like it has been. Whenever Elon Musk comes off as invasive, which he very much does right now, or when it seems like he's the one calling the shot versus Trump, his power gets cut a little bit. But even with certain privileges getting taken away or certain stories changing slightly as Elon announces them, I will tell you now, you will not hear direct stories of Elon Musk being neutered. Like, not all the time, at least. You will just see certain moves by the administration that are contradictory to what Elon is claiming. Or you'll see body language change around Elon and Trump. Or you'll see certain parts of Elon's promises don't materialize like he say they're going to materialize. And every move that Elon makes that is an overreach is good to make noise about, but make sure you make noise about it in context. A lot of people are making conspiracy theories around this, and when that starts to happen, it's very easy for propagandists and Trump officials to dismiss you as crazy or call it TDS, or for the checks against Elon Musk to lose the power to put him in place. For the record, I do think it is very worrying the amount of latitude that he's been given at the Department of Treasury, but I do see a lot of people who are very worried about him, and I see sustained pressure coming against him, which is what needs to happen. Elon is a selfish idiot. Don't buy his bullshit and keep the pressure up on people like this and trust the process. This is a media war. It takes time. I should know because I had to cancel a fucking Sunday episode because this information was different 5 days ago. Focus on the long game. The short term sucks right now, but you're playing the long game, and that's our show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back again. I'm so sorry for delaying as much as I have, but it seems we've got the ship under control a little bit. Anyway, my name is Zaid Tabani. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see y'all soon. Let's go!